let's get to the number one news story of the weekend. Brian Kelly fired. You're fired. After Texas A&M just stomps on LSU. Watching that game, LSU was in it in the first half. In that second half, LSU quit on that football field. And you could see everybody in that stadium, everybody watching that game knew exactly what was going to happen the next day because that team was just done. Brian Kelly was done. Everything had been done in Baton Rouge to that point. It's a bazillion-dollar buyout. I don't know how. There's probably some workarounds they're going to try and do and figure that all out. But Brian Kelly out in LSU. Dylan, the kitchen sink game. We're talking about the game. I mean, the kitchen sink game was just awful. I mean, the team just quit on him. He had no rapport with the fans, with the players in LSU. It was just trying to jam a puzzle piece in the wrong spot the entire time of his time in Baton Rouge.
Is a kitchen sink game required in order for a coach to get fired for on-field performance? Like, has a coach ever gotten fired pre-kitchen sink game?
Yeah, I think it's happened before. If they're just like, look, we already have our guy and it's done. Like, we've seen that before in the past. I can't think of examples off the top of my head, though.
So maybe we need to... So maybe Billy Napier's a good example. Well, no, because at one point, he probably had a kitchen sink game at somewhere.
Oh, Billy Napier's had some kitchen sink games.
He's the king of kitchen sink games. That's interesting. Well, anytime we bring up kitchen sink game on the show, we have to assume fired head coach.
Wouldn't Billy Napier be the pick right there? Because they beat Texas, and didn't he lose after beating Texas? Or didn't he get fired after beating Texas?
No, they beat Mississippi State and he got fired.
That's it. Yeah.
Wasn't that it with the interception? It's interesting. We'll have to see if there's any connection between kitchen sink game and fired head coach. So looking at the schedule this year, their losses were at Ole Miss, at Vanderbilt, and then Texas A&M. We're crazy. 3 ranked teams, but it goes to show you how much the standard matters. When we published our LSU preview, and I think all of us said we didn't think LSU was going to be that good. I mean, I know I had them as my overrated team. People were down our throats saying this is the best team ever. The defense just has to be good. Nussmeier has to be serviceable. So much talent in the transfer portal. It really goes to show how much of coach performance is based on expectations now and not really. I mean, those 3 losses, not awful losses. All ranked opponents in the SEC. It's tough to play in the SEC, but patience is going to grow more and more thin in college football in terms of college football head coaches and how long they're allowed to stay.
Yeah, the issue with that, though, is he was given a good amount of time with a ton of talent over the years and still never made the college football playoff and kind of wasn't necessarily that close making the college football playoff. And
no.
Like this year, I mean, you're supposed to have a Heisman level quarterback coming back. You spend a butt ton of money in the transfer portal and get all these guys and all these recruits in and everything, and they weren't even close to being a national title contender this year. Not even close to being a playoff contender. Like, yeah, I see what you're saying with, he only lost to the ranked opponents. We're doing the James Franklin thing there, but also you're LSU. You should be better than that. 2, they weren't even remotely like, yeah, the Vandy game was kind of close and whatnot, but like those teams were all just flat out way better, in my opinion.
Ole Miss only won by 5. I'll give them some credit there.
But I still think it should have been all those games. I still think should have ended up in the result of how A&M ended up as. I thought the score lied in some of those games. Defense got bailed them out at times, and the fact that this offense looked so bad this season. With Nussmeier, who was supposed to be a Heisman candidate, he's probably hurt, and maybe he just sits out the rest of the year to get ready for the NFL draft. Honestly, probably would be the smart play. Or we see an interim coach come in and figure out, Nussmeier's actually a good quarterback, and they figure out a system to get him going.
Yeah, I have no clue what the process would be with Nussmeier going forward. Now, the firing of Brian Kelly in today's college football is not overly shocking. Who would go to LSU to coach? That's my question, is who would be the next guy in there? And how are we letting the athletic director that hired Brian Kelly and paid this probably $50 million buyout, similar to James Franklin, was also the same AD that hired Mike Elko at Texas A&M and had to buy him out. At what point do we hold ADs accountable for hiring bad coaches? I mean, he's cost their respective programs hundreds of millions of dollars just in buyouts.
That is interesting how we don't go after, like, ADs aren't at fault more.
Oh, yeah.
Have more job security.
You just make the wrong decision, and no one ever talks about it. You don't ever get punished. You get to keep your job.
Yeah, $54 million buyout for Brian Kelly.
And Elko was, I mean, I think he was maybe the highest at the time when he got fired.
If you're LSU, I think your first call is Joe Brady. Get him back in the building.
I've heard that.
I think that's the first call. He understands what it takes to win at LSU as part of the best team I've ever seen in my lifetime in college football. Clearly a really smart head coach. I think it'd be easy for him to have donors buy into him, especially that. And that's the main thing you got to talk about with these coaches coming in is, okay, does this person bring a level of juice where donors are willing to go deep in their pockets and put up millions and millions of dollars in NIL money for this guy so they can go get the best talent? Because that's a huge part of it. I think Joe Brady to LSU makes way too much sense.
Here's my problem. I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I am saying, how far have we gotten into college football to where we have to rely on the boosters being ball knowers? And we've had this conversation.
That's how it's always been, though.
I get that, but there's something mentally up in the noggin that's not sitting right there. It's like the boosters cannot be the ball knowers. They're saying, oh, this is the guy that gets us excited. I'm not saying Joe Brady would be a bad hire, but it's a really bad place to be in when we're relying on the people with the money to be the ball knowers. They don't care about the ball, Karter. We're the ones that care about the ball. We're out here for the passion, for the love of the game.
Yeah, but they do have the money. The other thing I thought about with all these coaching jobs being open right now is, think about if you're a head coach like Brent Key at Georgia Tech or Kalani Sitake at BYU, where you're having a great season, and all these other Power 5 jobs are going to be begging to interview you this offseason. The amount of money you're going to make by holding that leverage against your school is crazy.
Oh.
Like, if you're a hot shot coordinator, you're a hot shot head coach right now, and you're a big name in these coaching hires, because there's going to be over a dozen Power 4 jobs available this offseason, you're going to make yourself a lot of money staying going no matter whatever you do, because you're going to be able to leverage that so much against your current school.
We will see more Curt Cignetti deals where schools reach out trying to get a extension done ASAP before more jobs become open. And what you said about getting the money, you're exactly right. Cignetti signed that 8-year, $93 million contract to State Indiana. It's just like, that's going to happen more and more with these programs and these coaches that, well, specifically with the programs that don't want to lose their head coach, and they just jump in front of it before the carousel starts and says, hey, if you stay, we'll give you this much money. And, you're going to have guys like Curt Cignetti that say, I love it here in Indiana. I love what we've built. I'm going to stay. And you're going to have guys that say, I'll pass. I'm going to see if LSU or Penn State or whomever will take me for however much money. So it'll be interesting here in the next couple of weeks as the season ends to see who inks their extension. Is BYU's head coach doing it?
I feel like he signs an extension every offseason.
Okay. So he's on a 1-year contract.
No, he's on like a 6-year deal, but then it gets re-upped, and there's weird, I feel like they're always giving him raises, which he deserves because he's a great head coach. So we'll talk about the Cougs a little bit.
Oh yeah, we'll talk plenty about BYU.
The funniest scenario now with Brian Kelly being fired is Brian Kelly goes to Penn State, James Franklin goes to LSU, and they just wife swap.
That would be. Well, I guess James Franklin has SEC experience. I guess that wouldn't be as bad of a culture.
Wouldn't they essentially cancel out both of their buyouts? Because wouldn't each of these schools have to take on $50 million?
They got to go look for They got to go look for jobs. Yeah, that's exactly it. Brian Kelly. You know what's bad? This is small brain talk right here. So Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, he goes to LSU. I say it's not a culture fit. And now that he's at LSU and he would be going back to Penn State, in my mind, I'm thinking not a culture fit. If we just reverse back to Notre Dame, he is actually a culture fit.
I don't think he... Penn State might be it. I think he gets at Penn State.
it would be kind of ironic, Brian Kelly going to a program that has a tampered and marred history.
You think
we're right in?
You think we're getting Brian Kelly on this show ever?
Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I was making a joke.
Odds are probably not. We need to keep an eye out for our cameraman, if so.
My gosh.
You think it's going to get worse, Carter? Just wait till we talk about BYU. I know no bounds.
Clark Lee, Vanderbilt head coach, he's another guy that's going to get paid this offseason. Like, any of these coaches that are having good seasons, normally they would get paid. You get the extensions. It's going to go up double of what a normal extension would be, or you're just going to go take another big-time job. Because, like, I'm trying to look through this list right here. Like, does Lane Kiffin, like, does he go to LSU? Does he jump ship?
That's what I was going to ask you, is for Lane, is like Ole Miss a ceiling program? Or like, do you go somewhere else? Is it just all about money at that point?
I mean, it's probably about how much more money you can use in NIL at that point. And then, you have all the boosters backing you at LSU. You would think you'd be in a better spot, but I mean, he's been so successful, Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is probably going to the playoff this year. It's like, do you really want to leave that? I mean, it seems like you got everything rolling there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the $1 million question coming down the road, is how many of these coaches are going to want to leave their current situation for an open vacancy like that. And it almost seems like Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss is, unless they offer him so much more money than what he's making, I don't know what he's making right now, feels like it's probably a no. I don't know if Lane Kiffin's leaving for many jobs.
What school? Maybe the job's not open yet. What school do you see trying to hire John Gruden?
Are we confident that he'll want to go college?
He said he would like to coach in the SEC.
LSU is the one that comes to mind.
I don't think LSU would hire John Gruden.
Really?
Why? I think the John Gruden hire would be Arkansas, because I think it's
really a lower program.
Yes, I think it's similar to what they did in basketball, where they needed such a boost with their program of, hey, we need to bring a big-time name in here to get boosters very excited, cough, cough, Tyson Chicken Nuggets, Jerry Jones and company. And then the football team, look, if they bring in, some head coach that's doing great in the, mid-major, say bring in like the Memphis head coach or something, like, is that really going to get the boosters going with the NIL money in Arkansas? Or if they get John Gruden to come in, now you're going to be a program that's talked about all the time on all the talk shows, kind of doing what Colorado did with Deion Sanders. Like, look, let's take a big swing here.
I guess that, I don't know. It feels like a guy like John Gruden kind of has it made right now. He's working for Barstool. He's doing what he wants to do.
He clearly wants to get back into coaching.
Sure, but he doesn't have the urgency to just take a mid-tier job.
For sure.
It feels like that's beneath him.
I think it would be too, but when Jerry Jones calls and says, hey man, we'll give you $1 bazillion to come coach at the Arkansas Razorbacks, you start thinking about it.
Maybe because Jerry Jones is so involved, if it would be a pathway back to the NFL. That would make more sense.
But the issue is
I could use that to rationalize that decision.
He's still dealing with that NFL lawsuit right now. So, like, is an NFL team going to be, gung-ho to hire him?
Something tells me Jerry Jones probably doesn't care too much about what the NFL's telling him to do and not to do. That would be my guess.
But you're saying like John Gruden to the Cowboys.
Down the road. Like, if that would be my rationalization process for going to Arkansas. Going to a team that Jerry Jones has an affiliation with. Like, to start that pipeline. If he were to go to the it would be, I'm talking probably 5+ years. Not anytime soon. I also want to make a correction. I said Mike Elko for the Texas A&M buyout. I meant Jimbo Fisher. Mike Elko is the current guy.
I was a bit confused, but I don't want to interrupt the show for it.
Jimbo. Yeah, right. You love interrupting the show, Carl.
No, but we had a good flow right there.
We did. We were in the flow state, I think is what they call it.
Last thing.
Yep.
Brent Key, doesn't he feel like a Florida hire?
I could see Gruden going to Florida.
That
would be a good. He's already down there.
Ow! I didn't.
What'd you just hit? Oh no! Gosh,
that hurt so bad.
Say something. Yell something.
Gosh darn.
All right, we're better now. I like Gruden to Florida better than Brent Key. That would make more sense.
I think I like Brent Key more, but I don't know. There's a real world Brent Key doesn't leave Georgia Tech.
That's fair. That's very fair. Undefeated. Not a tough schedule coming up.
No, not a tough schedule.
That's going to be interesting. ACC people out there making our clips go viral.
Love ACC clicks. That's what it's all about.
All clicks conference.
All clicks conference. Let's talk about the football from this past weekend, shall we?
Yes.
I mean, Texas A&M, LSU. I mean, we got into the game a little bit, but I think we got to talk about Texas A&M because this team, man, whatever you get a sketchy spread from Vegas in this one, doesn't matter. They just deliver every single time. 49 points on a really good LSU defense. Yeah. I understand the LSU defense quit, but it didn't matter because Marcel Reed looked like a video game on the field against LSU. It was awesome. Shout out the Aggies. You and Connor were dead on about this team in the preseason.
They're a very fun team to watch. Credit to me. I displayed and I talked about my woes with Texas A&M on paper. Their defense looks good, but in reality, they're not. And I took the over. We cashed. LSU scored 25 points. LSU should not be scoring 25 points against a high school defense. So good there. On LSU, I mean, Texas A&M was converting on third down 70%. Like that, you're just not going to have any chance. I wish there was more analytically we could say about this game, but because of what you said with how LSU just gave up after this first half, really probably the first quarter. It was close for the first quarter and a half, maybe.
First half. The second half, there was a weird somber mood about that game where everybody that watching that knew what was about to happen.
Yes, and honestly, funny enough, LSU's run game pretty efficient. They were in the 91st percentile in EPA per rush, which is something we don't normally see from them. But as far as tangible takeaways, it feels like there really aren't many other than Texas A&M is really good, which just sounds lame because they blew out LSU. But because LSU gave up, I even think that might be a bit turned up on the Texas A&M side. Mike Elko, the Aggies get Brian Kelly fired. Now LSU has Alabama coming up that, as if you're an Alabama truther like I am, you thought this could be a tricky game. I guess maybe if you believe in the interim coach stuff, but I don't know. Texas A&M's kind of got it made.
Yeah, Texas A&M, they're good. They're going to the playoff. All they got to do is probably win one more game this season. Or as long as they win, South Carolina or Missouri, if they win one of those games, I think they're in. Even if they lose to Texas.
Yeah, 100%. Now I have a question for you. We had an issue with you not watching college football this week. So Saturday.
Me?
Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, you were. It was Kennesaw State, Western Kentucky. You were out watching some BYU grad play like half an NBA game or something.
On Wednesday night? Yeah, I wasn't watching.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But you
were on Saturday.
What were you doing during football on Sunday?
Are we talking college football? Or
okay, so we'll table that for the NFL show.
Yeah, we'll table it for NFL.
Okay, yeah.
Because I told you that was happening, so and you're acting surprised.
Well,
that's because you want me to send a video.
I was locked in on Saturday. Locked
into what? We need to clarify.
College football. I played golf. Right. Played golf in the morning, and then popped back in.
What time did you tee off?
9. It was pretty slow though. I didn't get home till I didn't get to the college football games till like halfway through the second quarter, the noon games.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I just question. I mean, yeah, Igor Demon's out there picking splinters out of his butt. Gotta go watch him.
He hit 14 points. I don't know what you're smoking.
Yeah. 22 minutes, right?
Alabama, South Carolina. Alabama should have lost this football game.
So this game did not make a screen.
How?
Missouri, Vanderbilt, BYU, Iowa State, Illinois, Washington. Minnesota, Iowa.
That's the problem. Minnesota, Iowa. Yeah. I knew
UConn, Rice.
Yeah, this is. How did this not make a screen? I mean, even if it didn't make a screen in the first half, you got to switch over at halftime when South Carolina's winning.
That's the thing, though. When you know. I was never in doubt. Alabama was never in doubt for me.
That was such a sketchy game from Alabama. South Carolina, that was a classic. South Carolina gets up for that game. It was homecoming weekend in Columbia, and just crapped the bed when it mattered most. And Ty Simpson, once again, just gets it done no matter what. This dude is an animal. The best quarterback in the country. I'm jinxing him now. I jinxed Dante Moore. I'm going to go ahead and jinx Ty Simpson while we're at it, too.
No.
He is the best quarterback in the country. This Alabama team, they are playing with fire, though, because Alabama, with that loss to Florida State, there is not a lot of margin for error for them closing this season out. Yeah, they have LSU at home and Oklahoma at home. They should win those games. But then at Auburn in the Iron Bowl, anything can happen. And spoiler alert, Dylan, I like Auburn to upset Alabama in the Iron Bowl this year.
How? Oh. They lose one more game. They're still in, right? They're probably in the SEC championship still.
Yeah, that depends, because Texas A&M's, it looks like they have that just about locked up.
Yes, but what about that second spot? Who is it? Georgia, Ole Miss. A lot of teams with one loss. Texas, Vanderbilt.
That's how it is in these
Georgia.
big conferences. And yeah, a lot of them are going to play each other, and a lot of them are going to lose. But like Texas is not going to close the season with one loss in the SEC.
No.
And then you have Ole Miss,
probably.
Vandy. One of these teams has to start losing here soon. But with Alabama, it's heading to Bama. I mean, you got a problem there because that Florida State loss is going to look so bad.
But I think they're also going to look at it week one, first week of the year, and be like, okay, that was a bit.
We're going to come up with some new rationalization where it's like, oh well, week one doesn't matter. It's how they look like right now, just to screw some like 11-1 ECC team or Big 12 team.
That's not a new rationalization though. That rationalization has been around for how long?
I think that's the dumbest thing on planet Earth. That games don't matter.
I see exactly what you're doing. You're setting up for a 2-loss, 1-loss BYU Big 12.
2-loss BYU shouldn't get in. 1-loss BYU.
You're trying to set it up early. It's not even November yet. You're trying to set up BYU for the playoffs.
2-loss BYU, I don't believe should get in. But the problem is, it's like if you're in the playoffs at 11-1 and then you go to the title game and lose, like, should you be punished for playing in the title game?
Depends what logo you're wearing on your helmet.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's a big BYU, I say yes.
Yeah, that's a problem. We'll get into that in a second.
If it's A, I say no.
Big noon kickoff was at Bloomington this weekend, and Indiana wins 56-6, and it seems like the UCLA fairy tale story ends.
Yeah, I don't think that I wasn't much of a surprise to me. It was a
28-point spread.
Yeah, that was the people that thought this was going to continue. I mean, it's a good story. It's fun, but I mean, come on. Indiana's just that. This is what Indiana does. They beat up on bad teams. And
Oklahoma
just happens this year. They win the good ones too.
Oklahoma, Ole Miss. Ole Miss wins 34-26 in Norman. It feels like the Oklahoma Sooners are kind of done for the season, and especially when you look at their schedule going forward at Tennessee, at Bama, Mizzou, and LSU without Brian Kelly. I think we can write off the Oklahoma Sooners going to the playoff.
Yeah, Oklahoma's done. I want to say this. I think I've said this on the show before. I love Lane Kiffin. I love Lane Kiffin. I love him on social media. Did you see him chirping at the defensive lineman? I love it. It's interesting because it only works if you're winning. If you were losing, then it would look like loser behavior, but because they've only have one loss, they won a big game at Oklahoma. It looks like winning behavior. I love Lane Kiffin. I want to be in on Ole Miss so bad. There's something that's stopping me, but I want to be in on them. I want it on record. I want to be in.
Yeah, there's something. You're right. There is something missing with this Ole Miss team. I don't know if it's like on the defense or if it's with Chambliss, like at quarterback. Like, I don't know.
And you know what stinks is I think it's just the logo. It's small brain take for me.
I I think you're just thinking logos. That's better than the Colts one. The Colts one was a terrible comparison.
No, a lot of people agreed with me on that.
Who?
A lot of comments. They said, Dylan, you're right. The Colts don't have.
There has never been a comment that said those words.
Yeah, since COVID. When's the last time we've thought of the horseshoe and good football team?
So Ole Miss has South Carolina, the Citadel, shout out, Florida, and at Mississippi State.
At Mississippi State would
that would be at the end of the season. It's got some trippy spots.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Nothing is gonna be set in stone for the most part.
Yeah,
until the season's over.
Mizzou
when do we get the first playoff rankings?
Not this week. Next week. It's the first week in November, right?
Sounds good to me.
I'm pretty sure it's the first week in November. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I might need to get stats department on that one. Anyhow, Mizzou, Vandy wins 17-10 in this one. Both teams just the whole game. You're just watching this game. You're like, neither team wants to win this game.
Nope, not at all. It's tough.
Pavia gets the game winner right there. Yeah, I mean Mizzou's Mizzou. Like I feel the same about Mizzou as you do like with Illinois in the Big Ten this year, where it's like, look, they're gonna win 8-9 games, and they're gonna be that fake in the hunt team. Like when the final rankings come out in the college football season, you're gonna be like, Mizzou, they were 19. They weren't that far off getting to the playoff.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what. And I was hoping for a little bit more. Who would have thought they'd be facing the 10th ranked Vanderbilt team when we were doing our previews back in August? But yeah, it feels like Missouri's all but done.
But it's Vandy. Like, do we genuinely believe as of October 27th, the Vanderbilt Commodores are going to the college football playoff?
I say no, but I have no valid reasoning to give you. Just because a logo thing, the V, you trust in the V in the playoffs?
At Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, at Tennessee. I think a 10-2 Vandy gets in.
You would have to lose 2. Yeah. Man.
I think Vandy's getting into the playoff.
And here's the problem. The South Carolina win is going to look better than it is. The LSU win is going to look better than it's going to end up being. You lose to Alabama. Missouri, I mean, that was a good win, but man, that's tough. Yeah, they might take a playoff spot. I don't want to see it.
It's going to get weird here in a few weeks when we're doing playoff scenarios, and we're just going to have to take Advil before every single show.
Yep. Advil, Tylenol. Yeah, I would say more Tylenol than Advil. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, big time. There's a game in the Big 12 this weekend, Dylan. There's a game in the Big 12. A team puts up 41 points. They were an underdog in this game, and they win 41-27. Oh, BYU.
Houston, Arizona State.
I was told we shouldn't talk about this BYU team, but wait, they're a top 10 team in the country, and they're 8-0? Huh.
Yep. Yeah.
BYU wins 41.
Resume they built too.
BYU 41, Iowa State 27. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Run defense looked bad. That's got to be concerning a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie.
Run defense did not look good. Liam Blutman, Barstool Sports, he calls it Mormon magic, and he said the Mormon magic is just never running out. And I see a clip of Iowa State kicking it off, and the ball bounces back and hits Iowa State's foot, and BYU recovers it or something like that. That's not sustainable. Here's what I will say about this game. I have to give credit to BYU and the changes they made at halftime. It's like someone came down and brought them some gold plates and showed them the game plan, right? This is what you're going to have to do to beat Iowa State. And whatever those gold plates said, it ended up working out. And they win, and you know what am I supposed to say, right? A little lucky, but good win. We're going to have to keep talking about them until they lose to Cincinnati, and who else they have on their schedule? We went through it before. Texas Tech, right? They still have Texas Tech. TCU's probably a loss.
I didn't feel the punt thing. For sure, it was lucky. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Same reason BYU didn't go to the Big 12 title game last year, because it happened to them against Kansas last season. It's payback.
Okay, so we're keeping score now.
We're getting one. Yeah, we're keeping score. That's the whole point of the game. 41-27 BYU. Bear Bachmeier, man. This guy is an animal. Just an animal, man. I mean, starting running back LJ Martin goes out. I don't know how long he's going to be out going forward, but then the backup running backs were not playing well whatsoever. Did not matter. Was able to get it done in the air and with his legs, and he looks kind of banged up. Dylan, he's got so much Haynes King in him. I've been saying that all season long. BYU and Georgia Tech, I truly believe, are the exact same football teams.
Really? I
don't know why I like Georgia Tech. I've been in on Georgia Tech. Yeah. Buzz. Connor and I were in on them as ACC sleepers this year. What win is better? Like, why is all of a sudden Georgia Tech being talked about better than BYU when Georgia Tech has gone down to the wire with Wake Forest and should have lost in Winston-Salem against Wake Forest? They should have lost to Duke. They got beyond lucky with just crazy stuff in the Duke game as well. They barely beat Colorado on the road at the beginning of this season. And then that quote-unquote 12th-ranked Clemson win, 24-21, which took a miracle 50-yard field goal to win the game at home, is the only reason I feel like Georgia Tech's being put up on this pedestal compared to everyone else. Is because they beat a team with a fake number next to them. In reality, Georgia Tech and BYU are the exact same team.
I think you're trying to find things to be upset with now because Georgia
Tech's
8th and BYU's 10th.
Georgia Tech's, I thought they were 7th.
ESPN has 8th.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they are 8th.
And BYU has 10, so you're sitting here getting mad about you're finding bulletin board material for your guys. That's what you're doing. You're like, oh,
I feel like the narrative on social media is like no one's talking about, oh, Georgia Tech is this fake team, but everyone is going after BYU as this fake team.
That is called being a product of your algorithm.
I think
you are in with BYU,
but my algorithm's pretty spread out on my personal.
No, you're not getting the same Georgia Tech information as BYU on your feed.
Are you hearing anything about Georgia Tech? Anything?
No, because I'm on the KarterKast X account. That's all.
Okay, what are they talking about on Threads over there? I'm asking Threads. You're on Threads. You're on Blue Sky.
Threads is NFL. Threads, I'm getting NFL. I'm getting Titans talk. I'm not getting any Dolphins talk over on Threads. I'm getting Titans talk because I talk Titans. If you keep liking and retweeting church ball stuff, you're going to see more BYU than you're going to see Georgia Tech.
I understand that, but I haven't heard a peep about this Georgia Tech team where people go, yeah, they're fake. You know, I'm in the ACC algorithm.
Not as much as BYU. Your algorithm.
I might need to give you the login and you can look at it.
I have access to the KarterKast account, and I see BYU fans whining and moaning and complaining and saying the same thing you are because that's the feed.
But I don't use that feed at all other than to retweet stuff or post stuff.
So you're telling me the KarterKast feed is going to be that much different from your Carter's feed, the namesake of the show?
Yes, 100%, because I don't use that feed.
I think you're making up a scenario in your head and you're going to send it over to the head football coach and say, hey, play this for the boys, get them fired up. Well, let's act like we're the frisky little dogs here.
No, if I wanted to do that, then I would go on there and say BYU's fake and that Georgia Tech is this better team and they're going to lose the Tech. I would do the opposite.
You send them clips.
I'm buying in on BYU. I'm all in on BYU. What do you mean?
But you're pointing out that BYU is being counted out. Oh, why are we talking about Georgia Tech in the same light as BYU when they have no good wins? That's what you're doing. You're trying to get the boys fired up.
I feel like Georgia Tech is for some reason being talked about a little bit better than BYU for no reason at all, when I think they're the exact same team.
Is it possible Georgia Tech is more fun to watch?
No, not at all. Because I've watched every Georgia Tech game. BYU is much more fun to watch than Georgia Tech.
Is that because you're a BYU fan?
No, I think BYU, because BYU can get it done in the air better. Haynes is better. Yeah. I think Haynes, Mosley, and I think it's Hayes or Haynes. I always get them mixed up. Michigan running back and the Georgia Tech running back, man, they mix me up all the time. But anyhow, I think Georgia Tech's run game is much better, though.
I would say you're probably right.
But I think Bear in that wide receiver room at BYU is better with Roberts and Kingston.
So what I'm hearing is possibly two overrated teams, Georgia Tech and BYU.
I knew that was the spin zone you were going with here. The problem is Georgia Tech, their schedule's so easy to close the season.
Yeah, Georgia will be interesting as it always is, but even if they lose that, who cares?
It doesn't necessarily hurt them too much.
No.
And especially if they win that game, one, good for them. They belong in the playoff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
11-1, you're guaranteed to go to the ACC title game, and then who knows who you're going to face, because there's a lot of one-loss teams in the ACC right now.
Exactly. Georgia Tech has it kind of out in front of them. So does BYU, though. Although should I go to Cincinnati, BYU?
I wish I would have played that in advance, because, I want to be there. You're going to go?
Probably not, but should I?
Should we get you a KarterKast credential for the BYU Cincy game?
Yeah, give me a KK credential. Let's go.
Texas Tech coming off a bye. I like that. I like having the bye this week. That's big. That's big for the Cougs.
Pretty good team. Pretty good team, Texas Tech. The Wed Waiters.
Are we sure about that? I mean, they're running on what, 25-year-old quarterback Mitch Griffiths. I wish Connor was on here because he would understand that reference.
Yeah, big Dollywood guy.
Yeah, Connor. If you're wondering, why isn't Connor here? He quit doing the football show. He's just,
full-time basketball.
What?
Full-time basketball?
I don't know full-time basketball. I think he's just done with the sports media game. I think he's just going to be Dollywood and,
reviewing roller coasters?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
we do need a roller coaster review.
Carolina's we need you in here in the building more to raise money. Something like that. Yeah.
Close game.
That pissed me off. The underdog parlay should have hit this week. Carolina, man. We were 3 inches away, which 3 inches is
that's a lot.
Insane. It's a lot. It's an insane amount. I understand that. 3 inches in the grand scheme of things is a crazy, crazy amount.
More than what most people would think.
3 inches is being so far yet so close.
It's very true. Yes. That's a great point.
I think Socrates once said that.
Socrates?
Yeah.
For some reason, I heard soccer teeth at first. I was like, I have no clue what that. Thought it was a brain rot reference that I'm not aware of. Soccer teeth.
Should we create our own brain rot?
Ooh, soccer teeth?
I don't know.
I'll ask AI to create image and I'll send it.
Texas should have lost to Mississippi State this weekend. This Texas team, they piss me off because I don't want to bet on their games anymore or anything like that. But this Texas team, it's look, man, we know you suck. We know you're not good. But what if they just somehow their defense? I think they have the talent on this team. Just arch and just nothing's clicking for this Texas team, and they just keep barely winning these terrible games. What if they just won out? Would that be the funniest scenario?
Funniest?
I think it'd be hilarious. Hilarious if how much everybody, including this show, wrote off Arch Manning, and they just rattle off wins against Vandy, Georgia, Arkansas, and A&M.
It would require a major shift in perform. With how they're playing right now, I do not see a world where that happens. There'd have to be a major change. But, it would be interesting. But they have Vanderbilt, they have at Georgia, and they have Texas A&M. Lose one of those, you're done. And I don't think they win all three of them. I'm looking at Texas A&M. We talked about Texas A&M beating Texas the last week of the year before the season started, and people thought we were crazy. And now Texas A&M is going to be a favorite in that game. I don't know how big, but they're going to be a favorite.
Dylan, can we go back to the BYU stuff?
Sure, of course we can.
I should have just left it there. We need to make a bet for this BYU team if they go to the college football playoff.
Well, I would say odds are probably pro on that. It's minus money for them to make the playoffs.
Okay, well, I put in the chat if BYU. You said there is a 0.00% chance that BYU wins the national title.
Yes.
So I threw in the chat, if BYU wins the national title, you have to convert to Mormonism.
Same God. It wouldn't be. It's not like I'm. Okay, I'll say it. It's not like I'm converting to Islam. It was same God, just some different ways of getting there. So, what does that mean, converting to Mormonism? Latter-day Saints. Go to church once?
Yeah, you got to go to. No, you got to get. I think you got to get baptized.
Is that any different than, like, I'm baptized? I'm twice baptized.
I think you got to be thrice baptized.
But is there any difference?
Clean the sin,
just
baby.
The same baptism? Is it the same? Is it special water?
You got to clean it again.
I can do that at my church, though. Like, what's the difference between a Mormon baptism and like a Protestant baptism?
We don't need to get into the ins and outs of that, but so this was just a bad idea.
Can I just take a dip in the hot tub?
Dip in the hot tub.
Oh, so my punishment if BYU wins the national championship is I got to go spend an hour in a hot tub.
No, you'd have to get. It might have to do with something going to like a Latter-day Saint church. Like,
I don't even know if we have any of those over here. I'll be completely honest.
I can guarantee you do, and you're gonna be like, really?
Yeah, that probably will be my reaction.
I always feel that way about churches. Like, I'll be like, I didn't know there was like a Jehovah's Witness church near here. And then you're like, oh yeah, it's like 2 blocks away. It's like 2 minutes away.
Wait a second. Is that the same thing?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think those were very similar.
No. I was thinking of like another religion. Like, just, you're like, oh, I didn't know that was what that was, that building.
I see. I'm trying to get BYU to make the playoff odds here. Let me see.
I bet it's like minus 120.
They're all off the board.
All off the board?
On Action, yeah.
Oh, the Action Network app. I got a bone to pick with them. They've been stinking lately.
Really?
Yeah, I've been having problems with them.
Here we go. FanDuel, CFB playoffs. Can we get BYU to make the college football playoff? Wow.
Plus 260?
Wow. I got plus 285 on FanDuel.
Plus 260 for the BYU Cougars to make the college football playoff. Honestly, at that point, wouldn't you just take them to win the Big 12 at plus 450?
I don't know. Hold on. BYU, Cincinnati, Houston. I think if you think that they're not going to, if you think they're going to make the championship and they won't punish the loser, I say playoff.
Yeah, that line tells you they're not going to punish the loser.
And let's be real, are they beating Houston?
Yes.
No, they are not. That absolutely not. Houston's defense way too good. Way too good. You talk about BYU's defense.
Okay, look, I'm in on this Houston team.
Yep, go ahead and read the schedule. What offense have they played?
You know what's hilarious? You know what's hilarious, Dylan? I have a BYU to win the Big 12 ticket. I have a Houston to win the Big 12 ticket, and I have a Utah Big 12 ticket. I'm praying I get 2 of them in the title game.
It is kind of crazy that Utah has the worst odds to do that right now.
Yeah. I mean, 2 losses is kind of a death sentence right now in some of these conferences.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The Houston Cougars, shout out, they beat Arizona State. I think they ended ended Arizona State's season.
Tough realization to come to, but speaking of coaching positions, he's probably one gentleman that is going to get some calls.
Yeah, the Kenny Dillingham thing's interesting too because he was always like, he's from the Phoenix area, Arizona State guy through and through. That's been his whole MO while he's been there. We're here to build Arizona State. We're going to build Arizona State. Well, now you're about to lose Sam Leavitt after this season. You're about to lose your quarterback. You're going to lose a bunch of other pieces on that team as well. Doesn't this seem like the perfect opportunity to jump ship and go coach the Penn State Nittany Lions or the Florida Gators?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't blame him. Penn State seems to make a lot of sense. I remember hearing his name thrown around for that, but even Florida would too.
I would way rather have Kenny Dillingham at Penn State or Florida than Matt Rule.
Yeah. Wow, these are 2 coaches you don't like.
Oh, Matt Rule. Matt Rule is way worse than Kenny Dillingham. Because I think Kenny Dillingham's actually a very solid coach. I don't think Matt Rule's a good coach at all.
Matt Rule came out and said the years of celebrating 6-win seasons at Nebraska are over. Do you see that?
Well, buddy.
We're back.
Okay, 7-win season. Start the parade. Congrats.
500. Wait. So you're saying Matt Rule's okay with 6 or 7 wins? I hit maybe 15 of those on the golf course yesterday.
I was about to say, it's like, oh, what did you get on? You're on a par 5. Like, what'd you get on that hole? One person goes 7, or the one person goes 6. The other one's like, yeah, I doubled. I got a 7. You go, ha ha.
I can't remember. My brother somehow pulled off 160, 170, like a yardage thing. Like, how far is the pin? 160, 170.
That was happening to me. Well, I'd have an approach shot and like, oh, how far am I out? Like they have the rangefinder and they're like, 67. I'm like,
yes, yes. Oh,
we got to go play golf sometime together soon.
We do, especially is it warm enough in the winter months to play down there?
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna have to make that happen.
Yeah, we've got with you know what's so funny about Matt Rule in Nebraska, and then we can move on and go to the NFL show, but Matt Rule just cannot beat top 25 opponents. During his time at Baylor and Nebraska, I think he's won one top 25 game.
He fit right in at Penn State. He'd fit in like a glove. Just slide him in there.
Okay, that was perfect. That's a perfect way to end that discussion. Anything else in college football before we put a bow on it?
Wyoming, I will say, when they scored 21 points in the first half or whatever, I said we're screwed. Wyoming can't be scoring this many points.
Hey, doesn't matter. Colorado State fires their head coach, and they are just doo-doo cheeks Schuster. I mean, oh my gosh, they are terrible. Speaking of that, doo-doo cheeks Schuster first touchdown tonight against the Commander.
That's a great point. Great point. Michigan State, still little brother?
Yes, 100%. Michigan with I thought that was a nice win for Michigan. I thought Bryce Underwood looked solid in that game.
We'll take it. Still isn't asked to do too much. Utah blows out Colorado. Utah minus 13.5, easiest bet of all time. Can I pick a bone here with you?
Okay, I have a scenario to paint after your bone to pick.
Okay, let me pick this bone and we'll get to your scenario. I had Georgia Southern versus Arkansas State, Georgia Southern money line. I turn on ESPN Plus, the score bug, not updating yards to go or downs. That seems like the easiest thing to update, Karter. So I'm sitting here watching the game. I got to look on the sideline to check the polls to see what down it is and how far they have to go. The whole game, I have no clue what's going on. That seems like one of the easiest things you can update. Am I wrong?
It was probably just some student producer at Georgia Southern being like, oh, crap.
Betting on Group of 5 football, not for the weak. I had to watch that whole game without knowing how far my team had to go.
Did you hit?
No. Arkansas State won by 10.
That sucks.
Yep. So it wasn't even worth it.
Can I paint a scenario?
Get the brush out, baby. Start painting.
Michigan to make the college football playoff is not impossible.
Not impossible, highly improbable.
So they're right now they are 6-2. They've got Purdue, Northwestern, and at Maryland the next 3 games. Should be 3-0, no problem. Should be 9-2.
Northwestern's better than what people give them credit for.
So is Purdue. Purdue cashed the win total.
That's true too. I'm not a huge fan of it. And we've always struggled the week before Ohio State. Always. But keep going.
And it's always against Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland, Illinois. It was Illinois one year. I was at that game. That was rough. Michigan 10-1 to make the playoff right now.
So Michigan 10-1 to make the playoff. They go 3-0 in their next 3. They're 9-2 going into the game against Ohio State. Games in Ann Arbor. Julian Sayin, freshman quarterback, hasn't had to play on that stage yet in the game. I mean, obviously Bryce Underwood, same thing, but Ohio State, I feel like is going to have all the pressure in that game. Ryan Day, this is the final hump. Ryan Day's got to get over is beat Michigan. Michigan could win out the rest of this way, and they could make it 10-2. Michigan probably sneaks into the college football playoff.
100%. 10-2 Michigan is in, especially if they beat the number 1 team in the nation. Here's what I'm going to say, but we don't have to spend too much time on this because we'll I'm sure we'll have plenty of time the week we preview the game. Talent-wise, no. It can't happen. But after last year, I cannot sit here in good faith and tell you that Ohio State's going to blow out Michigan ever again as long as Ryan Day's head coach. In good faith, I cannot do that. So I'm going to say I'm cautiously optimistic. Talent-wise, they have us outmatched. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the AA.
I think I'm going to take Michigan to make the playoff at 10-1.
I think you're doing a thing right now that I don't like. You're doing a thing right now I don't like it.
I think
you know exactly what you're doing.
Because you know what I'm going to love is
what?
Michigan's going to win their next 3 games, and then I'm going to be sitting there with a 10-1 ticket. That means I get Michigan money line 10-1 against Ohio State.
I think the odds of them losing another game are higher than what you were saying.
We'll find out.
And I'm okay with that.
We'll find out. Anything else?
I think we hit on most of it. Temple, no. Minnesota just getting the doors blown off of them against Iowa. That was embarrassing. Washington, the Illinois teams having to travel 2-3 time zones still remains true. Washington blows out Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it. Auburn, right. your Tigers.
They win. I didn't bet them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Did you bet them?
No, of course I didn't.
Oh, brother.
Of course I didn't. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the NFL. Make sure to subscribe at KarterKast on everything. Download SeatGeek, use code KarterKast, $20 off your first purchase. At KarterKast on everything. Go follow, go subscribe, and then we'll see you guys on the NFL. We're going to just take a little quick break. We'll go to the NFL show right after this.